Hey guys, just before the podcast gets started, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss an upload. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Yellow Squared podcast. I'm of course joined with my brother James. Good morning James, welcome back to the podcast.
Good morning, mate. How are you doing? You well?
Yeah, good. It's always nice to record a podcast after a win. Makes it a little bit sweeter to sit down on a Sunday morning and dissect it all. A little bit of a tough one yesterday. First time we've actually spoken about the FA Cup on the podcast, so it's a little bit new for us. We got there in the end, 2-1 over Chesterfield, and any initial thoughts on that?
No, it's just it's nice to finally get a win, isn't it?
Mm,
In the cup, was it 4 seasons now that we've not got past the third round?
yeah.
And by my taking our last win in the FA Cup actually came at Wembley against Wolves, didn't it?
Mm.
So, um, yeah, mate, all good. Pleased that we got there in the end. I thought Chesterfield were excellent yesterday. I didn't watch the game, but I was following it closely, and
Yeah.
obviously saw the stuff on social media. Yeah, I thought Chesterfield were excellent, and so were their fans by all accounts. So I'm sorry that they got knocked out, but obviously delighted that we went through.
Yeah, absolutely. First win in the FA Cup for 1,735 days, James. And in that time, we've had 2 relegations, 1 promotion, and 10 permanent managers. Bit of a crazy stat, that, isn't
That's a greit stat. Yeah, not that we've been counting those days,
it? No.
but yeah, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it? I think we've had a few interesting draws in the cup. United, Leicester away in the Premier League. We were at Leicester that time, weren't we? And then we
Mm,
had who was it last season? Reading, where we played basically an under 23s team. So yeah, it's felt like we've not really been able to give the cup a decent go for a while. So
no, no.
yeah,
It's, yeah,
nice to finally get one over the line.
nice to finally get one over the line. Exactly right. Just before we touch on guest player, James, it was a strong lineup yesterday, wasn't it, from Val? And it's nice to see that, isn't it? Obviously, last season, like you said, we basically played an under-18 side. Had players like Adrian Blake and Adeyemo was on the pitch as well at points.
Mm.
So, bit of a strong lineup, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I was quite pleased by the side. I was at the Stevenage game in the cup earlier in the season, which was a very strong team, and I think that's kind of what Valerian's all about, isn't it?
Mm,
He likes the idea of building momentum. I think he said before the game that our next game was against QPR in like 8 days, so we had plenty of time to recover. So I think he just wants the team to get back to winning ways, build
mm,
momentum, and keep going. Yeah, there were a few changes. It was nice to see Healy get a start, and people have been calling for it, haven't they? So
yeah,
it's nice that
yeah.
he got a start to show us what he can do, or maybe couldn't do. Um, and yeah, Backman back in the lineup as well, wasn't he? But not captain. So I suspect that's him done as club captain for now. But yeah, pleased with the team.
Yeah, it's strong, and we knew Chesterfield would be a difficult opposition. National League, so they've gone through a lot of rounds to get to the third round, and they'd fight like absolute beavers out there to get through to the fourth round. The prize money is decent for them, despite not
Mm.
really being a National League side. Let's be honest. Um,
No, clearly a very good side,
no,
aren't they?
no, yeah.
And as Sir Elton himself pointed out when he had his interview, he clearly knows how good Chesterfield are.
Mm,
So yeah, um, yeah, good for good for Chesterfield to kind of get a decent crowd down because obviously they won't get any of the prize money for winning the cup draw, but hopefully they should get some decent gate receipt from that.
yeah.
Because it was a good turnout on what was the Graham Taylor match day.
Yeah, yeah. So, James, do you want to touch on guest player then? We can't miss it out, even though the championship takes a week off. Guest player most definitely doesn't. So, your turn to play the role of quiz master. You're currently 9-6 up on me, so I
Yeah.
really need 3 points to tie things up.
Yeah, you do. And yeah, the quiz doesn't stop. Guess the player never stops. But there is a slight FA Cup flavour to this one.
Oh, okay.
It got my juices flowing watching the FA Cup, thinking about all the wins and the FA Cup runs that we've had in the past. So slight flavour. Maybe that's a bit of a hidden clue for you in there, mate. But are you ready for clue number one?
I am indeed. Yes.
Okay, here is clue number one for you, mate. Okay,
Okay.
so I made 4 international appearances for Spain, scoring 1 goal. But I was most notable for my country at the junior age groups, where I got winners' medals in the under-19s European Championships and runners-up in the under-17s and under-21s tournaments.
Okay. So, a bit of a player that's had a good youth career, and then obviously then moved on a little bit into to Watford's level really. I'm guessing it. Well, it must
Mm,
have been in the Premier League. Not sensing a
I'm giving
Mario
nothing away.
Gaspar here, to be honest. I don't think he's quite at guess the player level of Watford legend.
Not yet.
Okay, so 4 caps for the men's team, 1 goal, FA Cup flavour. Okay,
Mm,
I'm gonna Spanish.
mm.
I'm gonna give it a guess at Jerry Delafeu.
Oh, that's a good guess. And I'm a bit disappointed there. I feel like I've
Excellent.
made
Come
that
on.
one quite easy for you. Yeah, you're right. Bang on, Jerry D. Um, oh, damn it. 9-all.
Hmm. No, no.
9-all.
I
Good guess.
thought you were gonna start pulling away, to be honest, but I've pegged you back, which is good for me.
Yeah,
Keeping it
yeah.
interesting for the viewers. You couldn't make
I
it up.
thought, no, I thought I'd made that vague enough that it wouldn't be guessed straight away. But damn it. Yeah, he
You
was a good
almost
player
got
for us
me.
away,
The youth bit sort of confused me a little bit because I feel like a lot of professional players play at youth level. So
mate. Yeah.
could have been anyone's smack. Could have been Kiko Feminir for all I know. But
Well, that's what I was going for. I was hoping that you might. No, yeah, it
mm,
nearly paid off. And no,
yeah,
you got it. You got it. Yeah, Jared Delafeu,
yeah.
scorer of that goal at Wembley.
Wow, what a goal it was as well.
Yeah, very, very good goal. He was a good player. We had such a good team at that stage, didn't we?
Really good
Technically
team.
wise.
Yeah, yeah, excellent, excellent. Just really unfortunate it sort of fell apart after that, and he's sort of fallen into a lot of injuries and
Yeah.
struggling a little bit, Udinese. But I think he'll be back soon from injury,
Yeah, I hope
which
so
is
because he's a
yeah,
brilliant talent.
great fit, great player, great for Udinese, great for him to be honest. I feel like we're lucky enough to have seen him play live. Sort of the
Oh
same
yeah.
way that fans from the '80s would talk about seeing John Barnes play live as well. So
Yeah, very good talent.
you just gotta admire them when they have the chance, and it's it's interesting to think about a player of his caliber playing for Watford. If you'd sort of told yourself that when you were 7 or 8, that you'd have like a
Oh,
Spanish international playing from Barcelona on
oh.
loan. Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, if you'd have asked me that when I was 8, blimey, yeah, no chance.
Yeah. Right then, James. Let's get into Chesterfield at home
Mm,
yesterday. We neither of us could watch it because the FA Cup has some weird rules, even for international viewers on broadcasting
yeah.
the actual video live. So we had to make do with final score and Jason Mohammed yesterday. But well, we followed it as closely as we possibly could, just to get as much of an informed view on what was going on.
Mm,
And by all accounts, James, it was a bit of a slow first half. It seemed a bit like we
mhm.
couldn't get out of first gear. We started quite well, had a couple of chances for Asprilla and Kone probably really should have scored in the early exchanges. But yeah, what do you think about that? It seemed like we were a bit stuck in first gear for that first half.
Yeah, it sounds like it, doesn't it? And it's becoming a theme for us, isn't it? My personal belief this season is we don't start particularly well, and then we let we let teams get a foothold in the game,
Yeah.
which is a bit of a worry for me. You're right, based on what I read and what I saw highlights wise, we had some good chances at early doors. If we score one of them, I suspect it might end up being a slightly different game. But as you've got to do, if
Yeah.
you're a lower league team in the cup, you just got to ride it out. And then it looks like, yeah, it was a championship team who believed they were playing non-league opposition, and we just looked like we were just trying to play the ball around, lacking tempo.
Mm.
And yeah, we allowed Chesterfield into the game, which is the worst thing you can do, especially when you're backed by 4,000. 4,000 away fans and on a FA Cup third round day. And yeah, we let Chesterfield back into it, and they started creating chances, and then eventually they created a gilt edge chance to score. Was it Quigley just before the
Yeah.
half-hour
Quickly. Yeah.
mark? Ball up to the back post, and it's probably one of the easiest headers that
Yeah.
he's ever had to score. I think even we'd have scored that, I
Mm.
reckon. Um, it was very much just stood up to the back post, unmarked, and yeah, 1-0 to Chesterfield.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't mind me
I can't.
jumping in on that,
Yeah, go for it, mate. Yeah.
yeah, we kind of had a little chat off camera before that, and I think the word I used was criminal to describe the defending
Yeah.
up to that goal. It was just kind of like a training match, really. It was almost like a defensive attack. We're gonna go through some phase play and basically just let the ball go to the byline, cross to the back post, easy header. I don't think anyone in the defence really covers themselves in glory in that moment.
No.
James Morris's starting position is a bit ropey when he's turning to block the cross. Siralta just lets Quigley go completely.
Mm.
Because before the ball is crossed, he's stood with him. And then Backman's rooted to his line and near the front post. And where have we heard that before?
Yeah.
But yeah, just to have a little touch on the occasion for Chesterfield, and I don't think their fans would mind me saying it was almost like a cup final for them. Fifth tier opposition coming up against a fairly recently ex-established Premier League side with a great stadium and quite a lot of history in the
Mm.
FA Cup. So yeah, it probably would have been a little bit of an FA Cup final or a cup final for that Chesterfield side, and if they got any chance to have a foothold in the game, they were going to take it. And like you said, the 4,000 travelling fans that came down with them is a simply amazing turnout, isn't it, for the National League following.
Mm.
And yeah, they were going to back them all the way, and you know what they did, and they probably deserved the goal.
Oh yeah.
From a lot of what I saw on Twitter and on social media, we looked pretty abject in that first half. We had a couple chances here and there, like we said, but on the whole, it didn't seem, did it, like we played very well.
No, we were comfortably second best in that first half, and I think the goal summed it up.
Hmm.
You say it was criminal defending. I think, yeah, I agree with you. I'd have probably gone passive. We just didn't get to anybody. We didn't put a challenge in. We didn't stick close to our man, um, and it's just poor throughout. I mean, yeah, you spoke about Backman being glued to his line. He's not done himself any favors again, in terms of getting back into the side, or at least posing Val a question,
Yeah.
about does Hamer get dropped now? I don't think he does. I think Hamer comes back into the
No,
lineup
I
now.
don't think so either.
But yeah, it's becoming a bit of a theme. I don't want to labour the first half too much, but yeah, we were comfortably second best, and we obviously needed a bit of a rocket and a talking to at half time, which I think is pretty much what happened. Uh, and I know we spoke about this a lot, but just going back to that goal, Dele-Bashiru at right back,
Mm.
it keeps happening, and I don't really know why we're persisting with it, because
Yeah.
it just doesn't seem to work for me, even
No.
against sort of lower league opposition.
Yeah,
Um,
it's sort of two or three goals now that is directly linked to him not being in the right position. And I'm not attacking Tom here at all because
no, no,
he is not a right back at all. And I'm sure we'd get onto it, but play him in midfield and he's absolute dynamite. When he's moved into midfield away from right
yeah,
back, in the middle of games, he has looked fantastic in that midfield,
yeah,
and it's summed up with a brilliant goal yesterday that he scored. So it is that thing, is it? It's a weird experiment, and I understand they're trying to break up the amount of game time Andrews is playing because it's a lot of football for a 19-year-old or 20-year-old, however old Andrews is.
mm, mm,
But yeah, it's an experiment that you know what, you could see maybe he has better ball playing skills than Andrews, so it's not the worst thing, but positionally it's been a car crash so
yeah,
far, and I think 3 or 4 goals have been directly linked to him being out of position and whatnot. But
yes,
it's
yeah.
it's one of those where you wish you had Craig Cathcart, don't you, to fill in at right back every now and again.
Craig Cathcart, Gosling, Gaspar, any of them.
Any, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
that's harsh on Dele-Bashiru. But yeah, no, I know what you mean, and I don't think he is this kind of character. But I wonder. It makes you think: is Valerian sort of making a point to say I don't have any depth? So I've been forced to
mm.
persist with
It's, you know what,
Dele-Bashiru.
that's actually not a bad look at it, to be fair. Particularly as it's
It's
coming
a
into
bit
January.
cynical, isn't it? And I don't think he's that kind of manager, but
No, no,
it's
but
probably worth a question. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah,
I said this before that I said that Valerian's insistence on a small squad is the thing that's going to kill him.
yeah,
Um, yeah, we're not here to talk about Valerian and the
no, no,
squad just yet, are we? So yeah, poor first half from us. If you're to summarise it, we just didn't get going. Slow, sluggish. I
yeah.
think Adam Leventhal said that we were arrogant, and that's possibly true. And we got what we deserved, and going into the break a goal down.
Yeah, and obviously as we're not watching it, it's very difficult for us to get some sort of a real opinion on it. Because naturally all
Yeah,
I was seeing was that we're a goal down, and by the sounds of it, we're not playing well. We're second best. Chesterfield are all over
mm,
us, and we were in need of a rocket at half time, and by all accounts we got it. And full
yeah,
credit to Ishmael in the second half. Made some real sensible substitutions, bringing on, Hurtado and Rajovic up front, and it changed it for the better. Little touch on Healy here, James.
mm,
First game he started in, what was it, 2 years? I think it was somebody. He was for Toulouse at the last game he
was it
started in
Toulouse? Yeah,
2022 or something. Um,
yeah,
I, from what I've heard, he didn't seem up to starting, and I think it culminated in like the 70th minute where he went down injured with cramp in both calves. So I don't
yeah,
necessarily think he is ready for a start yet. We've said it a few times when he's come off the bench before, and even though he scored, he's looking a little bit lethargic and a little bit unmatched fit as of this
yeah.
moment. I'm sure there's still a player in there. For 100%, there's still a player in there. But yeah, a little bit sluggish. What do you think about it?
No, I think so. Absolutely think there's a player in there, but yeah, I find it odd though. I mean, it's January. I find it mad that someone who, y- professional footballer getting cramp. I suppose that just shows the difference between training and matches, I guess.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I think he's fluffed his lines a few times when he's been given the opportunity. Um, And it sounds like yesterday, again, he just didn't quite take the chances that were coming his way. Apparently, there was a good couple that he probably could have and should have scored from. But
Mm.
yeah, I'm disappointed for him as much as anyone else because I actually really want him to do well because he looks like a good player. We just need to get the ball. We just need him up to speed, and I think we need to play to his style of play. Um, but yeah, it looks like it didn't quite go for him yesterday.
No, and it is unfortunate. But then on the flip side of that, to have both Rajovic and Hurtado come on and play well, real
Yeah.
strikers, number 9 goal for Rajovic in the right place at the right time. It's a great header, isn't it? Into the bottom left side of the goal, getting across his
Mm.
marker, and then for him to then carry on while we were while we were then chasing the winner. And the reaction after the first goal is excellent, really, isn't it? Rather than celebrate, the team will very much get the ball out of the net and we'll go again for a second. And that's testament to the mentality, isn't it? And I know we're sort of sounding like a broken record talking about mentality constantly, but the past
Yeah.
3 or 4 seasons has been awful mentally, for the fans and for the players. To be honest, the
Mm.
feeling of just dread whenever we went behind in a game, or to be honest, at the end of last season, the feeling of dread when we took the lead in a game, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you knew something was going to go wrong. And
Yeah.
you know what, James? Do you think we come back and win this time last season against Chesterfield?
It's difficult to say, isn't it? Because the technical ability of the squad last season was better, but I there's a part of me that doesn't think we get that winner in the 95th minute. We might have taken it to a replay, yeah,
Mm, yeah, that's fair.
but no, I don't think so. I don't think we go and win that game last season. Um, it's kind of two points really that I wanted to talk about. I think the reaction of the team when they scored, you're absolutely right. It was noticeable that it was, right, no, back to business. We go get the winner. And I think that just shows what Valerian said at half time. I suspect he reminded the players that they're supposed to win this game, and a win is um, the absolute
Yeah,
bare minimum. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing and probably removing some swear words
yeah.
that Val used. Um, but yeah, so I suspect that he was pretty tough and aggressive with them in the dressing room
Mm,
at half time, rightly so. Um, so yeah, great when they scored the goal. They went, right, okay, let's go get the winner because that's the minimum. Um, but I can't leave this nagging feeling that why does it take a half-time team talk to get the team going? It
yeah.
seemed to happen. It seemed to happen against uh, um, Bristol City
Mm.
on Boxing Day. You could make a case to say we weren't particularly great against Stoke in the first half, even though we did get the goal in the end. I
Yeah,
feel like we start games slowly.
yeah. I feel that
But yeah,
comes because we started games really well towards the latter stages of November, and when you're
mm,
looking at the teams we played, Southampton, Ipswich, first half were really solid, and I think
yeah,
naturally because the level is so high when you're playing against a team who's in the top three, really pushing for
yeah,
promotion. Naturally, when you're playing someone like Bristol City, and this is no disrespect to Bristol City as they absolutely bullied us that day,
yeah, yeah.
they're much lower. And we're looking at this going, maybe we don't have to press and be as intense. And
Mm,
unfortunately, you do. And as it showed, you
mm,
get punished in the Championship if you don't do that. So, yeah, I feel like there's no surprise that we're naturally not starting games as well, but I think that's something that needs to be addressed quickly before it
yeah,
gets too late.
yeah. Agreed. Yeah, but yeah, uh,
Mm. And then the second goal, pushing for the winner naturally, 95th minute. Finally, we get to see Rajovic get in behind. And, recently I've seen a lot of interviews and a lot of messages from people talking about Rajovic. And I'll be honest, James, my respect for Rajovic has gone up massively. As he was
mm,
saying, it was only last year that he was living at home with his parents and playing football just to cut costs,
mm,
just so he could try and make it professionally. And I know I appreciate he's 24, so in the it feels like players are getting
footballing
younger and
terms.
younger
Yeah,
now, doesn't it? But
yeah,
24, he's probably got another 4 or 5 years before, as a striker, he's hitting his prime. As Harry
yeah,
Kane is showing the world right now. But yeah, there's plenty to learn. He's moved to a completely different environment, and Ishmael was saying in the past couple of weeks that there's plenty to work on, and they're working him hard on it. And the second goal is a testament to that, and really shows how hard they are working and how hard he's working.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
He finally breaks in behind, takes it down into the channel, cuts back, holds the defender off, brings players into the game. That's exactly what you want from a nine in this system. Gives the
yeah,
ball to Hurtado, cuts inside, plays a lovely pass to Dele-Bashiru. Two excellent touches, takes the ball around two defenders, and a great finish into the bottom left-hand side of the goal to send us into round four. But a very pleasing way
yeah.
to end the half and to end the Graham Taylor match day for 2024.
Yeah, it was. And I just wanted to sort of touch on Rajovic a little bit, because you're right, a bit more information come out sort of about his background, and I think that always helps, doesn't it? To understand a player a little bit, because yeah, he has struggled in some aspects.
Mm.
Um, this season. Yes, he scored goals, but some of his other play has been found wanting, and that's not, that's not just my words. Valerian said it. He said it.
Mm.
Yeah, they've all said that they want better from him, and I really do hope he goes on um, to develop and become a player that we think he might be able to do. So if he just becomes a bit more physical,
Yeah,
then I think that's half the battle. I just wonder whether or not, like you said, like he said. Um, it was living with his parents a year ago. He's only just sort of made it into professional football. Uh, I wonder when he gets, £1 million move into English football, into the Championship, former Premier League side, whether that confidence gets knocked a bit. Does
yeah.
he think, have I got this? Can I do this?
He gets a
Am
bit
I
of
good
that
enough?
imposter syndrome.
Impos Yeah, I wonder whether or not he's suffered a little bit with that. And all it takes is one thing not to go your way early doors, and then all of a sudden you're sat there thinking, oh man, can I even do this? So hopefully, he puts that behind him. He realizes, he does score goals. He is scoring chances. And if he can start putting his body around and being a nuisance to centre backs, then we've got a player in our hands. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm delighted that he scored the first goal. And you're right, his sort of link up play to help bring, was it Hurtado into
Yeah,
play,
yeah,
to lay across the box, because he could have shot there. To be fair, Hurtado,
yeah.
on for your
No, no,
debut,
nice,
could have
very
cut in
nice.
and tried to unleash one, but no, good ball. And Dele-Bashiru, great footwork to set up the chance. So
Yeah,
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 great work and a good goal. Harsh on Chesterfield. I feel bad for him, for all the effort that they put in for that game. But obviously delighted that we then went on to go and get
yeah.
the win and a ticket into the fourth round.
Yes, a ticket into the fourth round is exactly right. Just very briefly touching on Hurtado. Very difficult. He's probably not even unpacked his bags yet. Getting in from America, thrown straight into the thick of things against with tough opposition. I'll be honest, tough opposition.
Yeah,
But you know what? I I'm hearing that he did well, and for a debut to already have an assist and get some good minutes in his legs.
yeah.
Whether he goes out on loan again for the rest of the season, you don't know, or whether he's used as backup. We have literally no idea. They brought him back to assess him, so we're yet to see. But positive signs, I think, is the main outlook from Hurtado.
Yeah, absolutely. And it must be so confusing for some of these players from the far-flung reaches of the world who come and play in England. I guess if you're, a Colombian first division side or a Colombian second division side, and they said, "Oh yeah, you've got a cup game against a team
Yeah,
4 leagues below," um, you're probably going to be like, "Oh, all right, yeah, this will be easy." And then all of a sudden,
mm.
you're watching these games and you're going, "Blimey, 4,000 fans, who are this lot?"
Yeah, fair.
I
That's
can
very
imagine
fair.
it's hard work, hard to kind of comprehend the scale of the English football pyramid. When you
Yeah,
got the size of some of these teams in these lower leagues and the backing and the support and the quality down there. Yeah, to come off the bench, handle yourself the way he did, and come off with an assist can only be good for him. And we're all just hoping he's a little bit more esprit, a little bit less Peñaranda, I guess. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So no, delighted for him.
yeah. Absolutely. All right then, James. Just to carry on the FA Cup theme. Just hinting back to the last sort of cup run we went on, to
Mm.
the final. Man City in the final. Unfortunately, a thumping loss, but just it
Yeah.
kind of reminds me this season. National League team on the third round, Woking. Then Newcastle
Mm.
QPR, Crystal Palace, and then Wolves in that very famous semi-final comeback. Um,
Mm.
uh, just give me one moment from that cup run which sticks out in your memory.
Um. Oh, well, I mean, if I'm being honest, it's a tough one for me to choose between Delafeu's chip, lob,
Mm.
um, curler. No, I can't even describe it. No one knows
The
how to
Delafeu
describe that
scoop.
goal. Yeah, that moment was just breathtaking in terms of quality. Or or just even the Deeney penalty to make it 2-2, the magnitude of it, but just to have sort of your icon of your club and everything that he'd been through, just to have that moment to score another meaningful
Mm.
goal at Wembley for Watford in front of all of those fans. I thought that was superb. Um, but I think it was just such an enjoyable cup run in general. The teams we
Mm.
played, who we had to overcome. I think that quarter final against Palace
Pretty
was
special.
was was a good one, wasn't it? That's the kind of quarter final that you want. Big boisterous away support. Watford Palace games had been a bit tasty for a few seasons because of Harry the Hornet going up against Zaha. Um, so um, yeah, I think it was just nice the way that we got ourselves into the final. Um, and I still have recurring nightmares of Pereira going through one-on-one. I just
Oh,
want him to lift the ball.
don't.
I
It
just want him
makes
to
me
lift
sick
it.
to my stomach.
Oh, but yeah,
the
it's tough. It's tough.
the game plan, honestly, if he just lifts it over Edison, you can dig in for
Oh,
85 minutes, can't you?
yeah.
And try
I
and
mean,
sneak it.
losing 6-0 is very different to losing 6-1, isn't it? So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it's tough. But yeah, so I didn't really answer your question there with a moment. For me, it's the Delafay chip. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you? Is there anything from that cup run or from FA Cup runs in the past?
You know what? There is a moment in that cup run that sticks out to me.
Mm.
And I'd have to say the Will Hughes goal away at Woking. This sort of kicked off the cup run, similar to this weekend's, National League opposition. Bit of a derby between Watford and Woking. Little bit of
You
a
starting
derby.
you
Uh,
start you can't call that a derby, can you?
well, it's around London, isn't it? Basically. Um,
You're starting to sound like Palace and Brighton fans, you
well,
are.
to be honest, I was just taking a leaf out of the QPR book, so
Yeah.
trying to claim a derby on us. But yeah, you know what? Good little away trip for the Watford fans to go to Woking, and a lovely
Yeah.
sweeping finish from Will Hughes kicked off a great cup run, and I was lucky enough to be there for the Wolves game. The first 70 minutes were tough to say the least, with Jimenez basically emoting on us. That was awful.
Yeah.
And then to come back, it was amazing.
Mm.
Just trying to think about any other cup runs we've been on. Probably the Deeney header in the other semi final was another great moment in the FA Cup. But
That was
yeah,
Watford's first goal at Wembley since Alan Smart, I think. Am I right? Did I get that right?
very
In the playoff
possibly
final.
because the
So yeah, that was a
the
good
playoff
moment,
final
wasn't
in
it?
between that was at the
The
Millennium
Millennium
Stadium,
Stadium,
wasn't
wasn't
it?
it?
So
Yeah.
possibly
Yeah.
possibly Watford's first goal at the new Wembley then.
Yes, I think it was. Pretty certain it was.
So there you
I
go
do have
then.
I do have one moment, if I can.
Mm.
It was the 2003 game. It was the quarter final at home to Burnley. I remember this one very vividly because I think we were out. Um, so I remember we recorded. It was live on TV. I think it was BBC. We recorded it at home, and we avoided the score all day. And then we came back to watch it. And when was it Stephen Glass? I know it was Glass. It was somebody Glass. Stephen Glass, I think. when he scored that free kick to make it 2-0, and we were going to the semi-final. That was pretty amazing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty cool because I mean, by that point, first division team, we did not have the money that we do now. So I think the club needed that. So I do remember that one. That one always sticks out with me.
Yeah, a lovely moment. I can't say I've ever seen it, and obviously I was what was that, -2 at that point. So
Yeah,
real tough one for me
brilliant free
to
kick.
to agree with you on that. But
Yeah,
showing your age there,
if
James. Showing your
yeah.
age.
Well, football existed before then, mate. So yeah.
No, it didn't. All right, all right then. So that will conclude this sort of FA Cup special of the
Yeah.
Yellow Squared podcast. We'll be back for more championship action in the upcoming week or so, and then we'll be back, I'm sure, for a round 4 fixture. And
Oh yeah.
we've yet to say that on the podcast, so
And who
looking
knows?
forward to
The
it.
magic of the draw, mate. Maybe it's an away days. Who knows?
Maybe it might be in away days for the Yellow Squared Pod boys. All right then. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you again very soon. Take care, guys.
See you later, everyone.